The bird has landed.
Baka!
Big bird, Kuti, he is here, and
when you are delayed by circumstances of life.
What are the
We just start the show, you know.
Oh, you didn't tell me how far away you were now. I thought you were like 2 minutes away.
Yeah, I actually was on
So what happened?
Lagos happened. Lagos happened.
But I'm glad you're here. Anyway.
Oh, no, I'm not supposed to be, by the way, you know.
Yeah, he isn't. But I don't know why you changed your mind. Why did you change your mind?
You know, I'm doing these shows. I'm doing these shows at the Alliance Francaise.
Today, yes. Yeah.
I did one yesterday. I'm doing one today.
You did one yesterday, show. I don't know about that one.
This is a lie.
I didn't. The one yesterday.
You knew, you just didn't want to come.
I'm telling you, I did not know. I know about the one today.
Today, tomorrow, and we have a special invitations only night on Sunday, I think, as well. So, yeah. A
special invitations only, right? For the special ones.
Yeah, for the people that will give me job this summer. Summer is coming, so we have to smoosh.
Oh, my God.
Smoosh and about to talk.
Fantastic.
You know, you have to...
Okay, but we're available for the different invitations that we are receiving from you. Thank you.
Anyway, I am. You are there. You're not just refusing your official appointment.
Yeah, no, real official appointment. Anyways, guys, we apologize, but don't worry, it's going to be an absolute blast. We will give you a content-packed show today. There are a few stories that we're going to touch on as best we can within the next 30 minutes that we have right here. It is Lagos Talks 91.3, and remember that the People's Perspective is brought to you by Adam and Eve. They call themselves Africa's #1 luxury homeware store, and I agree. Fantastic. Personally, he agrees. I agree. According to Seun Kuti.
I mean, which other homeware store in Africa is dropping money on this show? That one alone makes them #1 in my books. You know?
Clearly.
Yes. I'll give you your town counselor.
Fantastic. Yes. Anywho, you can visit their website, adamevehomeware.com. Right there, you'd have a variety of options: leather, outdoor electricals, bed and bath, travel. Like Seun always says, if you are a traveler and you need luggage, and the list goes on and on.
Even like walking bags as well. I mean, being a fan of bags, it's just cool to see the range that they have there.
Fantastic.
And don't forget the feng shui.
The feng shui. And their vision is to inspire luxury living defined by comfort, elegance, and creativity. And they do this by providing luxury lifestyle products with excellent and expert retail service in an inspiring space. This is exactly what they have stated on their website, adamevehomeware.com, and you can visit them at Isaac John in Ikeja. So if you want to go there physically, you want to take a look at and take a feel of what really they have to offer, go visit them at Isaac John in Ikeja. All right, so let us get into the stories for today. Very quickly, we're going to start off with the recent update on the Senate passing a bill against ransom payment to kidnappers. So criminalizing the payment of ransom to kidnappers. I'll take you through the progress, so to speak, of this bill. I remember last year in May or so, we did talk about it, saying that the Senate had planned to pass this bill that was seeking to punish those who pay ransom to kidnappers. And by this time in May, or rather May last year, it did pass the second reading. And I remember the legislation entitled Terrorism Prevention Amendment Bill. It was sponsored by Ezenwa Francis Onyewuchi, who was a senator representing Imo East. And this proposed amendment was seeking to replace Section 14. Now, this Imo legislator said that unemployed youths, and this was last year, he said unemployed youths are turning to kidnapping to make a living. He said that the actions or their actions are putting everyone at risk. In his words, he said some blame the rise of this criminal activity on poverty, religion, politics, deficiency of existing laws, unemployment, connivance of security agency, corruption, greed, amongst others. Our unemployed youths are also turning to kidnapping to get money as a survival strategy. Whatever the reason, it is most obvious that kidnapping in Nigeria puts everyone at risk, the rich and the poor, the old and the young, male and female, foreigner or indigene, is what he had said as regards that. And just to take it a step further with the recent update, on Wednesday, I believe, this passed the third reading in the Senate. Okpeyemi Bamidele is the chairman of the Committee of Judiciary. He presented a report and he said that the legislation would discourage the rising spate of abductions that are witnessed across the country. In his words, the overall import of this bill is to discourage the rising spate of kidnapping and abduction for ransom in Nigeria, which is fast spreading across the country. Having policies in place to combat financing of terrorism will surely reduce or eliminate privacy and anonymity in financial and other sundry transactions as it relates to the subject in other society. So this pretty much just gives us a gist of what went down at the Senate on Wednesday with this particular bill passing the third reading. We know that yesterday made it 1 month, sadly, of the Kaduna Abuja train attack, which led to the death of a few, the injury of some of them, and the rest of them being kidnapped, sadly. And we know that a few days ago, the abductors released some photos of the abductees. You know, they're looking very unkempt, and clearly, you know, these people are going through hell and high water in their abductors' den. It's interesting, Seun, looking at when Ramadan just started and the managing director of the Bank of Agriculture was released, right? And remember that from the video that we saw, what the bandits were saying is because he's an old man and he was pleading, and because in the spirit of Ramadan, they decided to release him. Now, sources close to the family have said that allegedly a ransom was paid, a ransom of 100 million naira was paid for him to be released. Now, so this was different from the narrative that we were receiving at the beginning, saying that, the reason why we are releasing this man is just because he's old and Ramadan is on the way. Now we are seeing that the Senate has finally criminalized the payment of ransom to abductors, to kidnappers, to criminals. So
who do we pay to? Because we must still pay to some. Who are we paying it? See, laws like this, I feel they miss the point of the situation. For me, there's a troubling similarity in insecurity in the issues in the two major issues of insecurity we have in Nigeria, which is kidnapping and terrorism, right? Boko Haram and the kidnappers are basically the two leading, maybe followed by the headsmen. You know, the headsmen, I think, if he's in clubhouse or in the house, just to let you people know, that's clubhouse.
It just literally pops up.
Anyway, you know, you can say that the headsman crisis is targeting mostly farms, and the classes is specialized because it's farmers and headsmen. And, you know, but if we look at the terrorism in general, banditry and kidnapping, there's this very similar thread with the two that I find very worrying, and I think our Senate should put more time into investigating this than creating laws to punish the victims of kidnapping. How do you want us to get our loved ones back? Through your police force? I mean,
that's a good question.
Let's call a spade a spade. Do we truly believe that the Nigerian police, you know, in any capacity? I mean, yesterday I was listening to some ex-minister talking about how even the police don't have secure internet lines.
Wow.
They have to be using Gmail. That DSS submit security report at gmail.com.
That's terrible.
You know, that even the Nigerian state security has no secure server of its own, you know. So this whole thing is nonsense. What keeps me up at night about this insecurity in Nigeria is that in 2009, Boko Haram was a largely unknown sect. They had not carried out any violent attacks. They done nothing. The Nigerian army and police invaded their compound, dragged their leader, Mohammed Yusuf, I was his name. Yeah, I think that was his name. Dragged their leader to the police station, killed a lot of them, and extrajudiciously shot him and killed him. Just the way they dragged this Ghana guy out of a convoy. And when, suddenly this Boko Haram that now they have killed their leader should be kind of weakened. They've killed many of their supporters. They should be weakened, disoriented, disillusioned. Suddenly you find that this group becomes even stronger,
of course, than
they were before. Immediately after their leader's death, some months later, they launch Abuja attack, suicide bomb, bam.
You can't kill an ideology.
We've not gone past that. The second one with kidnapping is Evans and our super cop Abba Kyari. Abba Kyari arrested Evans, who was supposed to be the number one major kidnapper in Nigeria, that was controlling 80% of all the kidnapping happening. That is a billionaire kidnapper. As we have caught him now, we have solved this issue. As soon as they caught the so-called leader of all kidnapper, suddenly kidnapping did what?
It skyrocketed.
Now the policeman that went to catch him, that we are all praising, will now find out that he's the number one criminal gone in the country. So, if the policeman that went to arrest the kidnapper is the number one criminal in the country, the federal executive government that went to arrest the head of Boko Haram, well, how implicated are they? Because this is a legitimate question now. If Abba Kyari himself can be implicated in many of the crimes he's supposed to be solving. So this is how we must see these things. So it's not about we paying ransom or not paying ransom to anybody. This is the usual, as I say, it's an elitist law. Because if it happens to a governor or a senator, they won't personally pay the ransom. It is from taxpayers' money. They will find a way to wriggle out the ransom to the people. As that man that they say they paid 100 million. Where did he? Let's go and calculate the post he's holding in the Nigerian government. If you've been holding that post since 1960 till today, let's calculate all your salary. It can be up to half of 50 million. But yet you have 100 million to pay ransom. So.
Wow. With this particular bill being passed, I just believe it's.
Let me just. Anybody that kidnapped me, if your bill is more than 500,000, nobody in my family is paying. Let me just tell you down now.
That's terrible. That is terrible. But just speaking about this bill, it just sounds very misplaced. Because I believe last year when this bill was brought up in the Senate, they made reference to payment of ransom being criminal even in the UK. And I just thought it was absolutely ridiculous that you're making comparison to a country that has invested heavily in security and ensuring that they are committed to protecting their citizens.
No, but this is even face value. Trust me, America also says America doesn't negotiate with terrorists.
Exactly.
But all these things are false.
There you go. But then even if you're making such a reference, right, it's different if you have targeted individually the variables that affect crime in a country.
And it's even policy,
and if you have attacked
not law. It's an American policy. It is not law. It is a policy that American
in
presidents
Nigeria,
take.
That's the thing. When we copy, we don't copy on really understanding how we're able to apply it to the state of things in Nigeria.
Before, of our time, copy day, no paste.
Sadly.
You guys copy. When you copy, you can't use your own brain. At least you guys use your brain to repeat what you copy, put for your paper. Now, copy, paste.
If
you know how many copy I don't copy? If you say in the middle of writing down what I copied, I realized that the person that I was copying to is wrong.
Is wrong, yeah.
So,
but the point really is if the government had provided certain mechanisms to address the causes or the variables affecting criminality, things like the economy, when we're talking about poverty rates in Nigeria, talking about availability of jobs, talking about the median income of the average Nigerian citizen, talking about corruption, these things, if you're able to address these things individually, these things play a role. They are factors that affect criminality and the increase in kidnapping. So rather than create a law that makes it seem as if you are working, when it's very clear and it's very glaring that even the most clueless individual knows that is not what is going to curb kidnapping in Nigeria. I'm expecting that the laws that you're making and the policies that you're making are addressing the factors that are affecting criminality. Why are we seeing an increase in crime rates in Nigeria? what are the factors affecting it? Are you addressing them individually? Because now a lot of families feel that the best option for them is to pay ransom because they do not have any confidence that the government will get their loved ones home safely. And so what else are you giving them?
Some ransoms are paid by bank transfer.
It's ridiculous. And yet no trace whatsoever.
Okay.
It's sad, and I believe that the more they make these sorts of laws, the more they keep showing that they do not value the citizens here, especially those in the lower echelon
before you even make this law,
Nigeria.
Before you make such a law, you want us to believe in the police, give us a number to call that is working, that somebody will pick, and somebody will not hiss and drop the phone. We have been kidnapped. Bim. Every 3 months in Nigeria, there's a new hotline for police. Every 3 months. How are we supposed to cram that? What's the new number? Wait on that.
Remember that there was this app that the police they launched where it was like an emergency response app, and I remember when they launched it, they reported that the first 400 reports that they got were what's it called? Pranks, because people were trying to check if really it's effective. And so the police came out and said to the people that they have to stop that because it sadly invalidates the real reports that are supposed to be addressed when they come on the app. And so it just went to show that even when this technological advancement when it comes to emergency responses was launched, the people were not trusting enough that indeed there was going to be any benefit from this app.
If anything works, if something truly works, trust me, everybody will know about it. People will use it because good things, good news too travels fast, just as fast as bad news.
Word of mouth, yes.
People will tell people, hey, go and check it out. Oh, but this is everybody. I mean, come on. How do we know about the Amala place in front of 4CID in Alagbon Close? The woman no do billboard now.
You didn't tell me about the Amala place.
If you don't eat such, there's no ACL. There's no fan safe.
You think I don't eat Amala?
I know you eat Amala, but not this kind of place.
Amala. Well, anyways.
If he wants to be forming hard for us,
I'm not
don't mind
forming
this
hard.
girl.
I'm telling you that I love Amala.
I know you do, but from places with AC.
No, that Amala doesn't bang. But it's the places where
I don't sure that this Amala's Instagram account. I'm telling you, but everybody knows it.
Let's take these calls. Lagos Talks. All right, 08092345913, 08092220913, 015150913. You can send a tweet at Lagos Talks 913 using the hashtag The People's Perspective. Please use that hashtag so that we could see your tweet and read it out. If you want to send a WhatsApp message, please send it to 0809-234-5913 to join the conversation. Lagos Talks, good afternoon. What's your name? Hello?
Good morning, Noga.
Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking?
Hello, good morning. This is Mr. T calling from Italy.
Yo, honey drip himself. Kilo Shelley.
Hi, Mr. T.
My brother.
Ify, I didn't know you love Amala.
I do love Amala.
See.
It's very yummy. What does that mean?
Kini Amala and see. At least say it in Italian. Say it in Italian. Amala. Say use the Italian language with the hand gesture. Amala. You eat the Amala.
Man, so on what's happening, man, I think in the end, the whole security apparatus needs to revamp. Starting from the lower levels, they really need to be trained. And the police needs to know what they are there for, They're not there to just collect money from the people, to extort people. They're there to protect the people. So they need to be, their leadership needs to let them know that this is their duty. And then those who stray away, they need to be punished as well. And then, talking about that app for emergency, I think one issue that also Nigerians, let's say the tech scene has is, what I call they manage too much. So most times they don't install things to capacity. For example, I know many banks, if you notice, whenever you're transferring money, the very first transfer might fail, and then the second one will go. So what happens is they have a low capacity. So the server will be sleeping, and then that first transfer is just to wake the server up. So most times what I do is I will just transfer a very little amount just to wake the server, and then the second one will kind of go through. So we need to stop this management culture. Since we need to install things like capacity,
instead of cutting corners.
Yeah, to invest fully into that. All right, very quickly, let's just touch on this one. One other trending topic this week, we did see that the Minister for State for Education, Nwajuba, he purchased the 100 million naira form to vie for office via the APC. As you know, that their forms are 100 million naira. And this came to the notice of the public, where his camp did say that a group of people galvanized to purchase this form for him. And of course, people started criticizing, saying that ASUU is still on strike, but he can afford to get 100 million naira to vie for presidency. And also taking a look at...
He wants to negotiate with ASUU from a stronger position. You people need to see
president,
things.
Right?
Yes, you people need to be futuristic. Anything these people do, you just be angry, fighting them, complaining. This man has seen that ASUU does not listen to minister. He sees the way they disgrace Nkige every time at the meeting. You see?
Wow.
That's it.
It all falls down. It's going on. But Seun, before we wrap up, because I want to paint a picture very quickly about what people are saying, right? So we know that UNESCO, for instance, about 30-something years ago, they had recommended that developing nations should allocate about 25% of their budget to education, right? Because they know that education is the building block of society, because it helps to invest, in the development of the nation, the economy, and the individuals that are within these different nations. However, in the past 6 to 7 years, we've seen that our budget allocation towards education has been less than 10%. Less than 10% of our annual budget. Clearly a far cry from what UNESCO has recommended.
Is it up to the budget of this Senate?
Of course not.
Exactly.
Of course not. However, people are then saying, okay, if you're arguing or if your defense is, people gathered, mobilized, galvanized to purchase this 100 million naira ticket for me, the question is, Seun, do you think that, because people are expecting that if he had that influence to be able to crowdfund, that he should be doing the same for the educational sector that clearly has a deficit, is functioning in a deficit. So do you think that he should start that tradition where he comes out of whatever budget is being allocated to him by the federal government to galvanize the so-called well-meaning people of society to help the deficits that we are seeing in the educational sector?
Where ASUU is right here is that they are not fighting for extra money. This is what people don't understand. ASUU is fighting for money that has been allocated. Over the last 10 years or so, less than 10% of educational allocation in the budget has actually been dispensed to the educational sector in this country. While they sit on the large, they sit on the large piece of the pie, Why would our lecturers be taking money from students to give them marks? These people must be paid highly, because our grades, you understand, are also part of the national treasury. When we say we have youth who cannot employ, our country is not working. Our university, these grades that these lecturers control, they are our national treasure to put on the best students. To award to the best students for being the best, but we allow them to award it to anybody that just has anything because of their own situation in life. We must change these things. I don't believe that any group of rich people should gather themselves and come and help us pay for education we've already paid for in our budget.
Yeah.
No, let's ask the minister, the pertinent questions. If they want to raise money for the universities in Nigeria as the rich people of Nigeria, then they should say so and come together and let's see how much they can come up with. Because we see how much they raise for PDP. We see how much they raise for APC before every election when they are doing donation. So what as we as Nigerian people, what we should ask them is, give to the schools if you want to give to the schools. But the Minister of Education's job is not to go and ask people to give to the schools. It's to make sure that the fund that is allocated is used judiciously for the benefit of these people in this country, to educate them. Not even only university.
And
look at the state of some primary schools, some secondary schools.
It's very appalling. And this is really where a lot of transparency and accountability comes into play, because first, the money that has been allocated and the monies that were finally dispersed to the educational sector, what are they being used for? Have they been transparent enough for us to know where it was being targeted towards, for us to even know that what they had was being used judiciously towards the betterment of the educational sector? And now for those who, for us being able to also identify that the entirety of the budget that was allocated to the educational sector not being dispersed to them, who is supposed to be held responsible?
Yeah, but I mean, definitely it has to be the executive, right?
Indeed.
Exactly, it has to be the executive branch of the government, the presidency, your cabinet. We in Nigeria, I'm tired of repeating the same thing over and over again, but it's clear as day. I keep saying to people, even like when Mr. T called that they have to train the police and all, even our police force was created not to protect African people, understand, but to protect goods and services from African people, so that when they are taking our things, we won't be able to be angry. These people are used to pacify us. You know what I'm saying? And we've not taken these institutions and Africanized them. That's why you can be sleeping in your house. I always tell people, if you're sleeping in your house at 2 a.m. and you hear big bang on your door, bang, 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 Boko Haram, bang, 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 Nigerian army, it's the same feeling you will have. It's the same feeling. So we must Africanize these institutions. This is what is missing. Our education is not Africanized. Our security apparatus is not Africanized. Nothing is being reorientated towards building the African nation. It is still used to protect special interests. Our education in Nigeria is to keep us working, keep us subservient, keep us answering, to the dominant forces of society, on question, without questioning, and unflinchingly. Yes, we're just there, ready to do what they say, So
let's quickly take this. Lagos Talks. Good morning. Who's speaking?
Hi, good morning. This is Justin.
All right, very quickly, let's get your take, please.
Okay, I think that the law to criminalize paying of ransom is first of all, that word is just on face value. Because if it's life-threatening, your first option will be to negotiate, no matter who you are. Then, secondly, I don't think Nigeria is on any level to even put those kind of laws. In fact, they should be subsidizing ransom payment. They should grab the families that pay some money, because if your duty is to protect lives and properties, and you have failed hopefully in that, and I'm now doing your job for you by paying my own money, I expect some returns from you.
I'll be at least an attaboy.
Thank you. Lagos Talks.
At least an attaboy.
Attaboy. This is from Honorable Ade saying it's quite unfortunate the situation that we found ourselves as a country. If government has done the needful by protecting citizens and property, will there be any need to pay for a ransom and someone is kidnapped? By the way, I forgot to even add that one of the abducted citizens actually just gave birth as well. She gave birth. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. So she sadly has to give birth in such a very uncomfortable and deplorable condition.
So the child's also kidnapped?
Clearly, because we don't have the child. The child has not gone back to the mother's home or mother's people. The child is still in the kidnapper's den. So God knows what type of attention, medical attention she's being given after giving birth.
No, I think we have to put some kind of...
that out.
No, kidnappers must have some kind of code. Like, come on. You have to put in some work to kidnap. Somebody can just arrive in the world and you kidnap the person. What kind of message are we sending here?
Oh, man, it's quite sad. This one quickly is coming from Adedeji saying, they tell you payment of ransom is not illegal. The same manner they say bail is free. Who is fooling who, I beg? Kuzuku is saying, I wish the bandits or terrorists can kidnap or just adopt some people in positions of power.
Then they just do now. The 100 million drop quickly before the law was passed.
There you go. Lagos Talk. All right, we lost that one. It's 1 minute past 12. This is where we wrap up the show today. Thank you so much for being a part of The People's Perspective, brought to you by Adam and Eve. Seun, before saying goodbye, any words?
Yeah, come to my show, Alliance Francaise, today, tomorrow, from 7 to 10 p.m. Just here in Ikoyi. Let's have a good time and ring in this holiday week. I never seen this kind of week before.
It's quite long.
It's a long one. Where are we going?
I'll be coming to work now every weekday. So I'll be here.
Me, I'm on leave.
Anyways, guys, remember that Lagos Talks is hosting its very first live event, the Lagos Talks Town Hall Meeting. This is a series of meetings that we're going to be having from local government to local government area, so that we can bridge the gap between the governed and the government. It is a platform where you, as a citizen of Nigeria, you come face to face with your leaders to ask questions, to keep them accountable, and they have to answer those questions that you ask them.
But you people have not called me for the contract to perform the show that will open the town hall meeting.
You want to perform? This one is not. We're not performing in this one now.
This perform is pay. Is pay that is decided. If we're not paying,
okay.
You will pay. I know you are talking to. I'm going to message Uncle Chris. I know you are powerful.
Uncle Chris, he's listening.
Yes, Uncle
Chris, please.
This is town hall meeting.
It's a town hall meeting. So
I have to use my meeting to get the people's minds right.
There you go.
Set in the Pan-Africanist revolutionary grounding.
That. It's in line.
Yeah,
it's in line.
You put up top in this company.
Guys, if you want to be a part of this, it's completely free, but you need to register. And when we are at full capacity, we are closing registration. So register now. You could call 0809 222 2913. I'll go over that number again. 0809 222 2913, or send an email with your name, with your age, your profession, and your phone number to events@lagostalks.com to reserve your seat. It's events@lagostalks.com. This is the first edition. We're starting from the Ikoyi or Balende Local Council Development Area. This is where we are. That's why we decided to start here. But
charity begins at home.
Definitely. So it's going to be a moving goalpost, right? It's going to be like a local government crawl. We're moving from local government to local government in Lagos State to make sure that we give you the opportunity to air your views, to air your mind, and to ask questions to your leaders. The speakers at this event, they're going to be on the panel that you're going to be questioning, are Honorable Gbalan Yishao, who's the member, Lagos State House of Assembly, Etiosa Constituency 2. We have Fuad Lawal, the chairman, Ikoyi or Balende Local Council Development Area. And we have Kunle Lawal, the executive director, Electoral College, Nigeria, and country rep for Ward Chat NG. So it's the Lagos Talks Town Hall Meetings, the 12th of May, 2022.